met in a beginning filmmaking class. We were in the filmmaking class, where everyone wanted to make these like really artsy black and white movies, would make a statement and everything, and Matt and I were both just Monty Python freaks. And that's how we sort of got along. And so we would make, really stupid movies all the time and get yelled at by the teachers.
Cole, come on, you guys. I'm not doing the fucking dog dance again. Just fucking let me dog dance. I only have 5% hair left, you assholes. You better do it quick, Murphy.
That was sort of the first animated thing I did in college. And it was really just out of, people thought I sort of was doing this cool style with all construction paper and Elmer's glue and scissors, but the truth is I was just too lazy to do, drawings on set. And I wouldn't know how to do it. I'm not a very good artist. So I just had a Japanese friend of mine who I was roommates with at the time, sort of talk about American history as he knew it, and then I animated to that. I just turned it in as no big deal, and then it got the Student Academy Award, and I got flown out to Hollywood and was there with all these real animators that were really pissed off that I had won as well because they were real animators and I was a hack. Came out to Hollywood and sort of saw how things were and was like, this is what I was meant for. This is me. This is the real me.
Watch out for that bear trap.
What?
So basically what we did is we made a preview first. We spent a few $100s, made a preview that was only 3 minutes long, and then went around to people and said, hey, we need finishing money for our movie. And they would look at our preview and think, oh, that looks really funny, thinking we were a lot closer to done than we were, and then they gave us money. Alfred Packer is like, he's probably the biggest like folk legend in Colorado. At the University of Colorado, he's all over the place. They have an Alfred Packer Day, they have the Alfred Packer Grill as like the student center, so you're pretty much bombarded by Packer.
Actually, we hired Trey to write the script.
I actually had a draft. I was working on it probably over the course of a year. So
Yeah, he kept telling us that he had the script ready and that we were going to go and shoot this feature for like $10,000. And then, one day he actually did have it.
the reason that we shot a lot of it outdoors was because, it's an outdoor story, but we also knew that it'd be cheaper and we could move faster because we didn't have lights. So at most we'd have a couple guys standing around with those big foam cards. We just we used a spring break actually because we were all still in college, we were still in school, so we used spring break and just everyone loaded up in cars and it became sort of like a vacation / film shoot, which was actually really cool because a lot of the students who weren't from Colorado got to see all these parts of Colorado that they hadn't gotten to see before, so that's why everyone agreed to do it for free.
But when you do a movie that's that low a budget, you don't get to be like, okay, you're going to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. It was kind of like just a bunch of people running around doing just everything to get it done.
Why did we give this movie to Troma? I think everyone's seen Toxic Avenger. We've definitely seen that and had little Toxic Avenger parties, so we were out in LA looking for other work to do, and then Lloyd came along and said, this movie's good, and decided to put it out.
Cold winter of 1874, 6 men set out on a journey through the Colorado Rockies. They were looking for gold, but what they found was that they were completely lost. About it now. Yeah.
The irony of it all is with all the heat now that's on us is that, and apparently because Cannibal showed down at South by Southwest, he said pretty much every studio had called saying, we want to buy this movie. Yeah, but no luck. Yeah, but it was like, it's pretty funny. So now it's sudden everyone thinks it's a good movie. Our dream was to sort of stay in Colorado and do something there, but the truth is, if you want a career and be able to, sort of perpetuate what you're doing, you've got to be out here because the next thing's going to come along.
Kind of like if you want to become a sleazy politician, you have to move to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Before we got picked up for South Park, we were making a movie that's called Orgasmo. It's about this nice Mormon guy who's sort of going door to door trying to convert people, and he ends up acting in the porno film industry.
And that's usually as far as we got.
Yeah.
They sort of told us, to go away.
The origins of South Park begin with you creating a viral video before viral videos were even a concept, before YouTube.
It actually goes before that. We were still in college, and there was this thing I had made that was construction paper, and again, it was very Gilliam-like, and people, but even way worse, crappier animation than Gilliam. And then meanwhile, there was these voices Matt and I would always do.
Told you not to put that hat on Frosty's head.
And the main one was a little fat kid that we would always do and talk about this little fat bastard, we talked about. Got an animation book and looked at mouth shapes depending on a vowel or consonant. And we just copied those and cut them out and put them on, and we're just doing this all with a, single stop frame camera. And we did a 5-minute thing that we called The Spirit of Christmas. And then we're here in LA sleeping on couches and trying to take meetings and do the thing and but one of those things, everyone, that's what happened. You come to LA and you think that, you're getting paid attention to, but the truth is everyone's paying attention to you just in case you're somebody. They want to make sure they have a piece of it. But, we came to town and everyone was basically saying, well, what else do you got? What else do you got? That's what everyone wants to know because they want a piece of it. So we were going around showing people other stuff we'd done. We'd be like, well, we've got this little animated thing we did.
We met Brian Graydon in LA, and we said, hey, look at this thing we did in college, and he loved it.
And so I just picked that video up and sent that around to maybe, 200-300 people, and believe it or not, I didn't get much of a reaction.
Oh, make me another one of these, just for me personally. Right. And gave us money, gave us $10,000 or something. Like, we got me $10,000, and all we gotta do is make another one of these dumb little Christmas cards. And because it was for someone here in Hollywood, that he sent out then, he copied it on this was all just on VHS. He copied it and it went out to a bunch of people.
George Clooney got a hold of it and it became his favorite little
How did he get it?
We don't
He
know.
just got it from a friend of a friend, and then he made about 700 copies and sent them out to all his friends, and then they made 700 copies and sent them all their friends. And pretty soon we were getting calls from people saying, hey, you guys got to see this cartoon.
We had a bidding war in our hands and multi-picture deals from studios. And
somebody showed me the short, which had just been done for that Christmas just a couple of weeks earlier. I thought it was hysterical, so I called and said, get them in here right away.
3 months later, we got a deal to do South Park.
For those that don't quite understand what the show is,
like us.
Yeah, it's South Park, Colorado, correct?
Yeah, South Park's a real place in Colorado. It's right in the middle of the Rocky
These are little
Mountains.
foul-mouthed weasel kids.
No, they're real kids. This is the way kids really talk, as we all remember.
Well, technically, I'm supposed to be Stan and Matt's supposed to be Kyle. That's sort of where it all started. Was Stan was the little me and Kyle was the little Matt. But as the further we go along, we realize we're really both more Cartman.
Yeah, just big fat bastards.
Yeah. You can have a little fat 8-year-old sort of say whatever he wants about any race because you forgive him because he's a little fat 8-year-old who doesn't know any better.
Now, Starvin' Marvin, that's Kenny's cream cone. Now, Starvin' Marvin is a bad Starvin' Marvin.
And Kyle is a Jew, in a nutshell, from Canada.
No, Stan's sort of the sensitive one, he's the most emotional.
Kenny is poor. Kenny's the kind of kid who would drink gas or eat worms just to impress you.
Who's from South Park originally?
I'm from real near. South Park's a county, so I'm from up in the mountains.
So you're from there.
Yeah.
Does this reflect life in that part of the country?
Yeah. People are weird there.
Aren't there a lot of UFO abductions and sightings or something?
It's the number one. South Park is the number one place for UFO sightings and cattle mutilation.
The discussions then are, all right, go make your show. We're giving you this much, and you say thank you, sir. It was for us. It was huge amounts of money, but it was also we were still by far the cheapest animated show.
This is how we did the original Spirit of Christmas and the actual pilot for South Park. We took all of our little pieces and cut them out of construction paper so that all the characters had these different colors and different textures.
That first pilot was still just Matt and I locked in a room for 3 months with construction paper.
I was a construction paper wrangler. So I was in charge of cutting out all the construction paper and setting up all the scenes for Matt and Trey, to actually sit down and animate with.
I mean, there's people who kind of came in and out and brought stuff, coffee and stuff like that. But it was just me and Trey. No one else really helped.
We would take a photograph of Stan looking frame right, and then we'd take off that head, put on that head, take a couple pictures.
We had done the pilot on construction paper, and that took months and months and months.
It's the most tedious thing in the whole world.
We just about killed ourselves.
We did the entire first episode of South Park like that.
Mr. Isaac Hayes. Well, the first time I heard about South Park, it was a call from my agent. And he said, Ike, you've been wanting to do voiceover, so I got one for you. I'm saying, yes, Disney. I said, what is it? He said, well, it's a late-night animated adult cartoon on Comedy Central. I said, what? And immediately I got an attitude.
You know, the list of people who we wanted to approach to do Chef's voice was pretty short. It was like Isaac Hayes was number one, but if he was going to say no, we were going to try Barry White or Lou Rawls or any of these kind of, you know, the 70s soul brothers who kind of define that voice. It was scary hooking up with Isaac the first time, just because I don't think we'd ever met a star or celebrity of any stature. So,
yeah, we walked in
freaked out.
And he didn't know what he was doing. And so he walks in, we thought, you know, he had agreed to do it, he'd read it, he thought it was cool.
He'd seen The Spirit of Christmas, he knew about the language, he knew that he was the only black guy in this entire white town, that, you know, he understood the concept.
He was a cook. It was like we walked in and realized he had no idea, and we had to explain it to him.
And they said, well, look, just read this. And I got a page, and I started reading, and I started cracking up. I said, okay, guys, all right, who's the Joker? Who's the Joker? Who you got me? He said, no, this is real. We're serious. And I almost got up and walked out. But something told me, he said, what do we got to lose? You know, what the hell? I said, okay, man, if you guys are crazy enough to do this, I'm going to jump in with you.
We tested the pilot in a traditional television focus group.
It was absolutely the lowest rated focus group I had ever been in.
It just hanked. I mean, people were irate because focus groups are like 40-year-old women in Barstow.
We don't like this show. Shh, okay? Old people need to be quiet right now.
They were not just like, this show's bad, but like, if you ever put this on the air, we'll find you and kill you. That was one of our big low points, was we had worked that hard.
And they sort of went through what some of the issues were, and they said, but let's go ahead and make the show. And I remember just sort of being stunned, but they knew they had something special.
We realized we had to take the process from construction paper to computer.
So we decided incredibly naively to build this never-before-tested computer animation studio.
The computers that make South Park make Jurassic Park.
Time South Park went on the air here, we already had probably 600 or 700 unofficial websites devoted to The Spirit of Christmas.
As the time to air these episodes drew closer, I became more and more apprehensive. I said, oh God, I can't face my friends. My family will be embarrassed. What am I going to do? I got a radio show, for Christ's sake. But anyway, the night that it aired, the next day, rave reviews.
When the show first launched, we got a lot of calls from people wanting to be in the show or have some kind of affiliation. We've heard from Steven Spielberg, we've heard from Tom Cruise. George Clooney is a very big fan of the show and has participated.
Man, that is the gayest dog I have ever seen.
Of course, after a couple of weeks, I said, oh yes, that's me. I'm the voice. Yeah, I'm the chef. Yeah, whatever, you old dried up fat hog.
What did you say?
I said, I've always wanted to visit Prague.
Oh, me too.
Elton John, big fan, did a song for the soundtrack.
I'll bet if you eavesdropped on a bunch of fourth graders today, the language would be pretty close to what you hear on South Park.
I think we talked like this when I was in 4th and 5th grade. You know, you learn those.
We
bad
did.
words
That was a
and
con. I
you
remember
just know
us
how to
saying,
shut it off when the adults were around.
Yeah, and it was like let's do a show where kids talk the way kids talk. Right. Because at the time we were, just out of college, like we remember, And
maybe that's when
really
we were young enough to remember. Now we're remembering. At this point, it's kind of like a marriage, in the way that we're just been together so long. We spend so much time together that you can almost finish each other's sentences.
And it's funny because we're just at that level now where it just doesn't happen anymore that one of us can say to the other, one time I was doing this. Because it's like, yeah, I know, I was there.